women's eights. And there is the route to the final. You can see that the Americans who are in the final, Princeton and Arion, tell you a bit about that on the way down, beat the Dutch crew Hollandia Row Club, and Brookes beat Leander and Imperial College yesterday.
And Oxford Brookes. Can I see your boat straight?
There we are, the camera's flying over Oxford Brookes on the Buckinghamshire station. As we look at them from the stern, they'll be on our right. And the American crew from Princeton Training Centre, and Arion stands for Advanced Rowing Initiative of the Northeast. Pretty simple, isn't it?
Yeah, it fairly rolls off the tongue, that one, doesn't it?
So that is Beatrice, the cox of the
Attention!
Oxford Brookes crew, with a hand up, just hand down, and both crews get away to a clean start. What do you reckon for this race, Fergus?
I think this is a thrilling encounter. You know, Brookes have been building up to this Remenham Challenge Cup since last year when they won the Island Challenge Cup, and this was their objective. This was the main goal for their women's squad last year, to really make a statement out that they are the top university programme in the world. The men have been doing it for years now, and then their women stepping up into the final of the Remenham, taking on really the best that America has to offer that aren't going to the Olympic Games. And look, Oxford Brookes are up against the Americans in the early stages of this race. What a statement from the Brookes girls.
This is an absolutely sensational start from the British crew. How have they managed to do that to the Americans in the first, I don't know, 300 metres of this race? And Megan Lee, the stroke of the American crew, she won't know what has hit her. Absolutely outpowered, outpaced, outrode in that first part of the race. Now they've got to hold it. Now the Americans start to dig in.
This is the classic Brookes start to any race. They just motor away from their opposition, try and break them early, particularly in this match racing, this one-on-one style. I mean, Brookes will be racing 5-6 lanes across throughout the season. And the Americans and their universities, they're used to this one-on-one action, but it's the British crew, it's the Oxford Brookes University crew right there on screen at the moment who are really taking it to the Americans in the early stages of this race.
Yeah, you can see in that boat in the 5-seat Rihanna Sumpter, and then in 7 Ariana Ford, at stroke Grace Richards. Those 3 women were in the under-23 World Championships last year in Plovdiv in Bulgaria, and guess who they came up against? Megan Lee, the stroke of the American boat. Hannah Heidfeld in the 7 in the American boat. The Americans took gold, the British took 4th. This is a grudge match for those 3 women in the Oxford Brookes boat, Fergus.
Yeah, it certainly is. You know, Oxford Brookes, they come through, they beaten Molesey in the early round of this. Then they took on Roaring Canada, dispatched them by 2/3 of a length. And yesterday in the semi-finals, they took on Leander and Imperial, beat them again by 2/3 of a length. And here they are, staking it to the Americans in the early stages. And out in front, Oxford Brookes just looking so cool, calm and collected. And if you're in the American boat, perhaps at this stage alarm bells might be starting to ring.
And we're just coming up to the camera, which has got a great microphone on. It'd be nice just to hear the coxes as we come up to this camera, so let's just see what the coxes are saying. Fergus, I can't believe Brookes are still leading as we come into the middle section of the course, and if there is any advantage, it'll swing back to that Oxford Brookes station, the Buckinghamshire station, in the mid part of this course. The Americans have got a real job to do.
They do, and you're just listening into what their cox had to say there, just communicating very effectively with their crew, just saying, you know, we're at this stage in the boat now, we're starting to move up a little bit. That start that Brookes had, that incredible start that blasted out, they've stopped that. The Americans now have checked that move in the middle of this race. There's some pain faces there from the Americans, but that cox doing such a great job just to keep telling her crew where they are in relation to Oxford Brookes at the moment, and just trying to feed a little bit more confidence into them at this stage. They're doing very well, Eyes are in, eyes are looking dead level, just the odd glance out to that Cox, and it's working for them. The Americans just starting to move their bows up the Oxford Brookes crew ever so slightly, inch by inch, stroke by stroke. They're eating into that lead that Oxford Brookes have.
Fergus, who's your money on for the winner at this time?
I think at this stage this has been such an impressive move from the Americans. They've nearly drawn back level, sitting about, what, a canvas, quarter of a length back down. So I think the Americans, they'll look to build off that roar, look to channel some of that energy from the various enclosures that they move down. I think the Americans could win this.
Yeah, I was thinking the same, but you know, Brookes have been so brave. They've just answered that, and what a great job that Tebby has done. Chris Tebb, the coach of this Brookes Women's 8. He's up against Yas Farouk, the American world champion. Coxed the American 8 in 1995. I remember her on the team. She's a fantastic presence now. The Washington Huskies coach, but the Americans are coming. They are coming back, and if you're watching this in America, you can see just as we can that they have nearly got level with the Oxford Brookes crew. What have Brookes got left, Fergus?
This is going to be a sensational finish for the Remenham Challenge Cup. Oxford Brookes have led from the start, but the Americans are sticking on in there. They are taking it right to Oxford Brookes at the moment. As we've said, this has been the Oxford Brookes project. It's what they've been building for so long. Chris Tebb has been recruiting so hard this year to bring in so much international experience, so many incredible athletes into this Oxford Brookes crew. But again, America, this crew know how to win in 8s. They've won at the under-23 World Championships before, so many of this crew, and here they are just getting closer and closer as we move towards regatta enclosure.
Let's call the names out, because whatever the result, this has been a fantastic race for Brookes. Claire Feerick, the Irish international, McKenna Simpson, the Canadian, Martha Birtles, the best dancer in the crew in the 3 seats, so she says. She'll be dancing if she wins this race. Nicole Cusack, another Canadian, Rihanna Sumter, we've spoken about her, Brenna Randall, the Canadian from Saskatchewan, in the 6th seat. She's still in front, Ariana Ford and stroke Gracie Richards, and Cox by Beatrice Argyle. And whatever the Americans have thrown at them, Fergus, Brookes have found an answer.
They have. The Americans, they've stopped moving, but we can see they're on the right-hand side of the screen. That rate from the United States continues to go up. They're throwing everything at Brookes in these dying stages. But again, Oxford Brookes, that bow just gliding through the water on the left-hand side of your screen. Oxford Brookes rising to the occasion. I mean, what a shot there of Claire Feerick in the bow seat, and she will be hoping that she's the first one over the line in this final of the Remenham Challenge Cup. But the Americans aren't done yet.
Yeah, it's a long race at Henley. It's more than the 2,000 metres of international rowing, and it's into a headwind, but Brookes are still leading. And the Americans, they look beaten. Where is the sprint from Megan Lee and Hannah Howardville? Caitlin Canest in the 6th seat, the Stanford athlete. Matthew Pinson, who's he warning, Fergus?
He's warning Brookes. Brookes have got to be careful in these final stages. They're right out in the middle of the course. The Americans trying to do everything they can. That move that we saw in the middle of the course, it's been checked by Oxford Brookes, but Brookes holding on as we come up to the finish line.
This will be an incredible win for the British University from the best under-23s that America has got to offer. Brookes lead in the final few strokes. What a sensational row. Oxford Brookes take the title, the elite title of the Remenham Challenge Cup. Incredible by half a length from the Americans. What does it mean to them, Fergus?
That is history made right there. What a performance from Oxford Brookes University to come and win the Remenham Challenge Cup. It's incredible, and those girls will remember that for the rest of their lives.
God, I'll remember it for the rest of my life, I think. Get my breath back. The Americans thought they did everything, but confirmation, the Remenham Challenge Cup champions 2024 are Oxford Brookes.